Touch curd, drink a beer. I'm a man. He's the man. Beer. What is that? Beer.
It's boys time. Go out, hang out with the guys.
It's only boys. You chill, you drink.
That's the sign of you showing that you're a man.
Beer.
Yeah, we're good mates. You'll hear people say that. We had drinks the other day. Because social interaction has become that complicated.
Pretty much anything guys do together, they'll compete at, and I guess drinking's no different.
They want to be known as like macho guys.
And I was very proud of it as well. Because, you know, I was like better than the girls and I was with the guys.
So it's nice to know that they're girls who are one of the boys.
If you want to be a man, you must drink. Can you see that it's funny? It's funny. Hey?
What kind of a man are you? Always get drunk every weekend.
It's like saying if you have to be a man, you have to hit your woman.
You can claim to be more manly because you're drunk now. So who's gonna tune you anyway? Can't say that, yeah. You know. I mean. Beer.
FHM is basically aimed at the young men. So when you're going out jolling, you're earning some money. Those are the guys we think of when we publish them.
A lot of Kwaito videos I've seen is like guys sitting around with beers. Beers is a central part of the video. What is that about?
No, they're trying to say where there's music, that's where you find booze, alcohol.
Let's say you walk in a club and there's no liquor. What would people do? It wouldn't look realistic, you know. I mean, you're in a video and everybody's carrying a bottle of water. Like, honestly speaking, nobody does that.
Do you know what Pizza Thursday is?
Yeah.
What can you tell us what it is?
Well, it's Puzza Thursday. It's putting down the drinks, putting down the tequilas.
Puzza Thursday. Why is this glasses warm? Is it a washing dish or what? Puzza Thursday. Puzza Thursday.
And where did you first hear of the concept Pizza Thursday?
My friends.
Usually hear on the radio Gareth Cliff talking about Puzza Thursday.
The word Puzza means to drink. It doesn't mean to drink liquor. It means to drink anything.
To be inebriated or to be drunk?
Drunk, have a bit of party.
Just taken off like you can't believe. I mean, I see everybody's using it now. DJs at clubs saying it's a Puzza Thursday party. I see merchandise that says Puzza Thursdays on it. I think that's a compliment to the idea that we started it, and I'm very pleased it's taken off.
Some people would say that magazines, including FHM, should be promoting responsible drinking rather than getting trashed. What do you think about that?
No, I agree. Yeah. We never really glorified drinking and driving. That's what the guys are up to, eh? And we're not going to judge them, you know. That's brandewyn het nie breek nie. People like to just overdo it, and you can have a lot of fun overdoing it.
At the end of the day,
If you're gonna pose with a bottle of booze in your video and whatsoever, that's what you're encouraging to the youth. If he can do it, why can't I?
They say, okay, Boza did this. Boza was carrying a bottle, clearly drinking
But
that.
he wasn't
let me talk.
But he wasn't
It doesn't
stumbling
matter.
all
But
over.
seeing you
Exactly.
carrying, he can't sit there carrying the whole bottle the whole day.
But he
and not
wasn't
drinking it.
drunk.
What you were doing in a video.
He's
Let me
drinking,
talk
but
about
he's not
it.
drunk. And to all the artists like who are promoting alcohol, like I wanna say no, they must stop, hey, because it's bad. At the end of the day, they have like good life where they're staying, because like people they like drinking and they're overspending their money just because of their role models who are wrong.
So a lot of people say to me that because of this Puza Thursday thing, it almost looks like we're encouraging drinking, which is not the case at all.
And are tequilas, is that like a requirement for a Puza Thursday?
Yeah, always is. But the caveat to all of this is be responsible. And it's absolutely clear to anyone who listens at any given time.
Do you consider drinking large amounts of alcohol to be responsible drinking?
No. It almost sounds like you're trying to talk me into, and that you're going to cut this up somehow and make it seem like I'm the only one endorsing this kind of behavior. You're going to cut this up, cut. Why are we constantly trying to protect the stupid from themselves? Bad things are going to happen, and they're probably going to deserve it. Isn't it a good thing that they wipe themselves out? No. You're going to find some boring minister with a tie and a suit on to say, well, the problem with the youth is they drink too much. And you get the ANC Youth League to step in too and say, I don't think we should curtail this kind of behavior. It's unacceptable and inappropriate.
So it was last week, and this guy phoned in because we take your phone calls every day on 5FM. They have that, and this guy phoned in, and he was actually still drunk from the night before. This was Friday morning.
And I will not have anyone say that it's the media's fault, or that it's my show's fault, or that it's anyone else's fault, or it's the bar's fault for having the bottles. How dare they display those bottles there, so pretty and shining. You as an individual are in complete control of that kind of thing. You either take the drink or you don't.
You can't go around telling people how to act. They know that you're not supposed to drink a certain limit of alcohol if you want to be driving.
I think everybody knows their limits, and if they don't, they'll discover them soon enough.
It's Puza Thursday on Long Street, and tonight we brought our Puza meter. Do people out on the streets know how drunk they really are? Are they sober as a judge, or are they foobar?
Sober as a judge.
I'm so sober, guys. How sober are you?
I'm not sober.
Feeling groovy.
I'm feeling f***ing groovy. Let's find out. Sober as a judge?
Definitely.
Have you been drinking this evening?
2 glasses of wine, a Jägermeister, Long Island iced tea, tequila. Okay, I've had a couple. But I'm still sober.
Let's check it out. Challenge number 1, walk the lines. And the lady is off!
You see, I told you this is boring. I'm sorry. Who's that?
Okay, let's go to the side.
Who's that?
And stop. No more sober as a judge. Not sober as a judge, but the party.
Really? Then I maintain really well.
You think you know how sober you are? Dukka party.
No.
Sober as a judge? Very well.
I'm struggling with my ankle here. I forgot to tell you I've got an ankle problem. Puza!
Ah, you cheated.
I hope you're not from the police. It's still going up.
It's still going up. We have a new off-the-charts record. Foobar. Where do are on the boozer meter?
I'm feeling groovy.
So you're feeling groovy. Have you been drinking?
No.
Nothing?
Nothing.
So are you sober as a judge then?
Yeah.
Okay, let's check that out. And go! And he's off.
That's ridiculous.
Oh, lovely start. Can he make it past them? Keep going.
I don't want drink. They're going to get drunk in taxi tonight.
Have you been drinking?
No.
Sober as a judge, you were spot on the money.
I'm feeling sober.
Really?
Yeah.
1-4. Are you driving home tonight?
I'm actually driving home.
Okay, you're driving them.
I'm driving them.
Okay, all right.
No, I'm actually not. I'm not.
Clearly, nobody knows just how drunk they are. And we found hardly any sober people. Thank you for watching Boozer TV.
Sometimes it's quite difficult to know how much you can get away with.
It's definitely not what the cops would say, like you have 2 beers and you're drunk. Because I know none of my friends, they'd have 2 beers, they wouldn't even know they've had beer.
The 0.05 cutoff is the point at which your risk of being involved in a crash doubles.
Under identical driving conditions, a person with 0.05% alcohol in his blood, that's about 2 drinks or a few beers, is twice as likely to have an accident as a person with no alcohol in his blood. With 0.10%, 3 to 6 drinks or a couple of quarts of beer, the chances are 3 times as great.
You drink and then you drive, what you get, a car accident?
What's up? Have you been drinking this evening?
Heineken and tequila, Mars and Gold.
What's that funny thing where you mix?
Jägermeister.
Jägermeister!
Shooters!
Yeah!
Tons, loads, plenty.
Our friend is drinking. Oh, no.
No, he's the designated driver.
He's the designated driver. He's not drinking that much.
We're very responsible.
Yeah. I don't know where he is.
Where is he? Where's Steven?
If I drink more than her, she drives home. And if she drinks more than me, then I drive home.
So the person driving home will tend to possibly less, but not have what they shouldn't be. I mean, not the normal limit. But the other person doesn't have anyone to drive them home. Very rarely will they sleep in the car or sleep home. And calling people a taxi, people seem to take that as a bit of an insult sometimes.
I think we take the risk and we're going through a couple of roadblocks tonight.
We do it.
Everybody that I know drinks and drives.
I know when I was much younger, I mean, I think nothing of going to a club and getting totally pissed and finding my way home. I don't know how I would find my way home, but I found my way home.
We have parties and people over to our houses and we supply them with alcohol and then we expect them to get into the cars and drive home.
I'm trying to get my home, so I have no place to sleep over.
We've all done it, and we all know people who have had accidents drinking and driving. I've lost a lot of friends, and the friends that remain will still drink and drive, which is quite strange.
I was at a motorcycle rally once, and I remember one guy finding his bike going, "Jeez, bro, I'm so glad I found my bike, I'm pissed to walk."
We also have a great problem from drunk pedestrians.
I've seen like a lot of people who got knocked by the car, man, because of alcohol. They're walking, they're drunk, they don't check what's happening around, you know.
He was brought in by the police now. He's been drinking. His skull is cracked. I would say 70 to 90% of the patients are on alcohol.
Even just walking in public. Don't drink and walk.
Under the influence.
Make sure, man, like you get a lift from somewhere. Boom. Friend nearby. Go to his place and sleep there. We should have like that kind of advert, man. Don't drink and walk.
The South African Liquor Act actually states you're not allowed to serve an intoxicated person, which, yes, which is a very grey area, because after your 2 drinks you're intoxicated, and no one will make money that way. No one will make money that way.
If somebody goes to a restaurant, you don't stop serving them because you think they've eaten too much.
Yeah.
Listen here, sir, like you've had like 2 bowls of onion rings and 3 plates of chips. I don't think I can serve you another one because you might have risk of a heart failure.
Yeah.
We provide the service. It's up to people to be responsible for themselves. It's a business.
In America, you could sue the bar that gave you the drinks because you crashed your car because you were still under the influence of alcohol. Here, you either know when enough's enough, or someone walks up to you and they say, please will you get your bouncers to take that guy out? He's been irritating us for 2 hours, he's falling all over the show, he smells like vomit, and he weed in his pants. You know, so that's that. We don't. Those are the guys will stop serving.
When last have you seen a traffic cop? Good old blue and white boys. Hey, not in a long time. They once used to roam the plains freely. Now there's only like 3 or 4 breeding pairs behind a glass at the spur in Turkey somewhere, you know.
I bet if you ask 100 people, you won't find 10% that have been breathalyzed.
Okay, you ready?
Alcohol doesn't have legs and walk around and kill people. People are killing themselves or they're killing each other. And that's happening because they are under the influence of alcohol or under the influence of drugs or whatever it might be, in which case, by Darwinian theory, you ought to be wiped out anyway.
I was driving drunk and I was over the limit and I was speeding, excessively speeding. I was doing 180 kilometers an hour. Not my proudest moment, I might add.
Have a couple of drinks, doesn't work out, jump in the car, drive, boom, and back at someone else. It's caused me some serious money.
How much was the fine?
6,000 rand.
The most important consequences for me, which I didn't realize immediately, was driving drunk with my children in the car. I mean, I drove regularly with them in the car, drunk. And I used to have car crashes that I didn't remember. I'd wake up the next morning and go to the car and it was missing half the side of the car. And I was just like, well, how did that happen? I had absolutely no recollection of it.
Yeah, it was a very bad experience being in an accident, you know. And especially when people die in that situation, you know what I'm saying? It's a very terrible feeling, you know what I'm saying? I do have regrets, yes. I do have bad memories and stuff like that. But I think with alcohol, if there was alcohol involved, I think it was going to be worse.
If you're driving, you obviously should not drink at all.
In Brazil, they've got a zero policy. You're not allowed to have any alcohol in your system at all if you are driving a vehicle.
In England, they have less traffic accidents as a result of liquor because you can take the tube.
You need regular random testing of motorists.
It's going to require a dramatic overhaul of the system.
Mr. Skoenraad, can you please step out of your vehicle? So, sorry, I can't stand up. Can you get in? Thanks.
where the buck stops is with that person that goes and kills someone. That's where the buck stops. But could there not have been a preventative measure before that?
I cannot deceive myself.
I've been asked by the Department of Health to give you a letter asking you to tone down Pooza Thursdays. Here it is.
A letter? Oh, it's from the Western Cape Department of Health. It says we've got to consider the impact of Pooza Thursdays. See, because it's easier to go for Gareth than to actually go to houses where people are abusing tick. So thank you very much to the MEC, the head of health in the Western Cape. I appreciate your letter enormously. We will not be suspending Pooza Thursdays. I think instead that you should be taking to your job, which is to make sure that people are safe and making sure that people get good medical care, which is what they deserve from the Department of Health, which we hard-working taxpayers who occasionally like to have a drink never forget. And perhaps you would do well to do the same. Lovely. Thank you.
That's a knife wound that was happening at a shopping place. Mara, why is she alive? He doesn't know why he's being left on the floor. Maria, what he knew where my bone to talk at
On a normal weekend, it's usually people coming with gunshot, being stabbed, MVAs due to drunken driving. Maybe father comes home drunk and then beats the wife and the kids and stuff like that.
So we've done about 8 calls for tonight already. I would say half of those was alcohol related. During the week it's quite alright. Weekends you struggle.
Is it a major burden on the health service in the Western Cape? Undoubtedly so. At least of the order of 1/3.
And in a 9 billion rand budget, that is significant.
But if one could remove from our casualties and our wards all the people who have a disease related directly or indirectly to alcohol, we would have, in fact, space which would allow us to provide more appropriate therapy to those who are there with illnesses that cannot be prevented.
Then the figure about it up, then the figure power get to 7 up. Now, sitting silent about pick up hango. There are sometimes abanye bakalala sevela atumdu akuko up.
Yes, we have a responsibility, but so do you. So therefore, you have choices that you make, and if you make these choices, it will enable us to provide you with a better service.
Ultimately, it seems like the only person benefiting from this whole alcohol industry is the person at the top who owns the company. Why is this being let happen? What's happening? Is there anyone looking out for people like us?
Going out to nightclubs, you experience a lot of violence and aggression towards other people.
I don't believe there's a direct causal factor between alcohol and violence.
Alcohol does accelerate that which lies in you already.
Especially at the month end when they have money, they buy a lot of booze and they start stabbing, shooting.
I'll show you case, mate. I'll go there and drink, right? I'll lose my mind, but I won't do unnecessary stuff.
The environment.
The environment that doesn't allow me to.